A topic we've been exploring a lot recently, a sense that something is influencing me and it's not so good. You can kind of picture in a cartoon, right? You got a devil on one shoulder and a angel on the other shoulder kind of whispering things to you, influencing you, these thoughts and things. But there's other names for this. There's woo-woo names for it, like ghosts or entities or spirits. There's religious names for this: angels, devils,
demons,
archons. Have you ever heard that word before? Harvesting your loosh energy. There's confusion, spooks, ghosts. And the yogis. It's called samskara, right? That's what they call it. And this is about being on the wheel, the karmic wheel of reincarnation, of reliving patterns over and over. Think that we're living in like a matrix or something like that, and we just keep reliving the same thing over and over again. And a lot of times, I don't know if you've noticed, the patterns that I relive are suffering patterns. They're not typically joyful patterns. Sometimes they are, right? Maybe hang on to those. But the idea in samskara is to get off the wheel. It includes desire, includes the good things, like to get off the wheel and to feel liberated from the patterns and choose differently. So this is a concept we can kind of explore as something that's happening collectively, consciously now. A lot of people are becoming very aware that there's something else going on. There's a third man in the room. And also, I think what's being discovered is I can't talk to everybody about this. I can talk to Audrey about it. If you're listening to this, you can decide now if this is something you want to talk about. If your partner is more on the normal side of things and has less awareness, they may look at you like you're insane when you start talking about these things. So how do we navigate that stuff?
The patterns. We get our patterns, they create preference, but they also create sometimes suffering because the patterns can be so simple. I didn't get up on time again. 10 minutes. I slept for 10 more minutes. It makes you late. Your morning sucks. Some of these patterns are so simple, we fix them and then we go back to our old ones. That's why, number one, it's this like cycle that's a process that you keep hopping in on. Who to talk to some of this stuff about? I told my partner, I was like, I gotta go make another podcast you can listen to if you want, but it's kind of woo. And he was like, you'd be surprised how on the woo end I might be. And I'm like, he's like, I might listen to it. Okay. We'll see. I don't know, but I would say this is how I feel about it. I honestly think that everybody has their own way of how to view it. And there's this weird thing in my brain where I feel like I can see so many different people's explanation of what it is. But I don't think that that wheel or the peace or the confusion, I don't think it looks necessarily the same for anybody. And it's like, it's hard to define. Everybody has to find their own way out of it, or then you can find it with other people, right? You can make your ways, you can do your things together, but you have to identify it because nobody else is inside of you. Nobody else can identify.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I was saying how when I feel like when I'm suffering, a lot of times it's up in my head. The stories, the imagination, the castles I'll build, and then you feel it differently, right?
So sometimes now my suffering is in my body. My head is like, I can live with this. This is fine. But my body's like, you are tired. What are you doing? My head's like, well, like they just don't match. And
Yeah. Mine don't match either. My body feels great. I was doing arm balances again and handstands. My wrist feels better. But my mind is a mess. It's just all these thoughts and stories that some of them true, some of them not true. It's wild.
see, and mine is just like, oh, that makes sense. This is how this person finds peace. That makes sense. This makes sense. This makes sense. This makes sense. Okay, cool. Then why does my body not want to do anything? And it's like they don't match up. You need to reset the nervous system, I guess. Again, we keep doing over and over again in the middle of our pattern breaking.
Well, I do think that there's one term that's been circulating around that defines what we're talking about here: Maya, which translates to illusion. I'm of the understanding that this is an experience. It has a begin date, which is my birth date, and it has an end date, which is a date I don't know yet. And then after that, it's me returning back to just pure spirit, pure energy. And then that's what the Samskara is talking about, is a lot of us will hop back on the train, want to come back into a body and have more experiences. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's at some point where I may want to change the pattern on what I'm experiencing. Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because it's funny because you said this earlier and I was driving here and I thought about this and I always forget, but I just remembered. I'm laughing because I just feel like when you say that, we're going to want to come back in, like Edward in Twilight, when he's like, I've already read all his books. I know this many languages. What do you do with all that time? But also, what are we not doing with that time? It's wild.
But he was changing his pattern, learning different things, experiencing different things, which is why I'm a big advocate of just being a lifelong learner. I'm always learning new things, sometimes multiple things at one time, because it keeps my awareness grounded. It gives it something to do, because it's like, okay, awareness. What does that term even mean? Okay, I can see more of what's going on. Maybe I can sense more or feel more, or I just know more intellectually. Maybe I'm just smart. Awareness could mean a lot of different things here and be unique to the individual. But what do I do with that? And to me, it's always about getting involved. I'm not one of those people that will become a monk, I don't think, ever, because it's like I want to be in life. I want to come off the mountain and interact. I may want to go back onto the mountain and hang out for a little bit, but getting involved to me is the fastest way to move through whatever it is I'm moving through. But even as I say that, maybe moving fast isn't everybody's way.
Well, what do we tell people all the time? Mothers of new children who haven't walked yet or talked yet. He will in his own time, honey. They will in their own time. I think you're right. Maybe it doesn't look the same for everybody, but I think there is a way as an outsider that you can hold space for what it looks like for everybody, if that makes sense. I just don't think that we'll ever truly understand fully what it looks like for somebody else because we've never had the same experiences of them. A lot of them, it could be very similar, but I don't feel like they're ever exactly, they would never be exactly the same. The closest thing you would have to that would be maybe with a sibling that was in a lot of the same places.
Well, really different types of energy that I can work in at any point. There's personal, which is just me. When you're talking about something personal, I can share something personal with you, but you can't know exactly every detail because only I was there. Mm-hmm. Only I've been here theoretically. I may have checked out a couple times. I don't know. I've been here theoretically the whole time. And so only I know what's personal and I can only share from my point of view. And then there's something we get to operate in here, which is called business energy, which to me is just facts, is the cold, hard facts. This wall is blue, unless you're colorblind. So even then, the facts can be expanded when people start inputting into it, add on to it. But there's also a thing called social, which is where I take my personal with the facts and I marry it up. And that's what that is. That's social interaction. So it's when we're social with each other and we're regrouping, that's where the aha moments come. It's kind of a break to be in business mode and just be working with the facts. Okay, I got to stack up all these papers and paper clip them, and I have to do that 50 times. That's my job today. But when I start trying to make sense of what's going on personally for me, then it benefits me to actually get social with people, which can also put me back on the wheel and building karma and getting back into my patterns and all the things. And then what we're describing here is life.
That's it. That's it. We just come back. Okay, what did I learn this time? What do I pick this time? And I keep thinking, I'm in this phase now. I'm like, I shouldn't do that. Think about what happens when I do that, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And I got like 10,000 things. I'm like, oh, well, I guess we pick one. Which one do we pick? Or two? There's so many patterns. You don't even realize how many patterns.
Well, it's all patterns.
Yeah, that's what
We
I'm saying.
live
Like,
in
it's just
patterns.
It's like a cyclic
And
wheel.
so, yeah.
Here we are again. To the same.
And so it can be kind of like a head job to be like, well, how do I liberate myself from being not in the patterns if that's what's around me now? Well, to me, it's getting back into that bigger picture of that this is temporary. Being in this physical body is temporary. And so in this temporary form, I'm in all these patterns. But if I can remember that I'm an energy source, that I'm not really this body, and I can operate from that place of detachment, but not in like a bad way. Detachment in a way that, yes, I'm in a body. Yes, all these things are going on around me and it's some wild shit, but I'm also this observer. And that's what I'm going to go back to being when this is all over.
So what happens when you do that here?
Do what here?
Can you, while you're here, go into points where you are just observing?
Yeah.
And what does that feel like here?
It feels boring. It feels like not, it feels like, yeah. It could feel like an out of body experience, I think.
You're content. And to me, it's like the bittersweet that I'm in now where like everything makes sense. That's cool. But like, I'm detached from it. I'm not in it.
Yeah, I can be in both worlds at once. And that's kind of the handoff that happens.
Is that the flow? Is that part of the flow is to be able to move between the two?
Yeah, it's an inhale and an exhale. It's a, okay, let me go do things in the physical world, da 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 da. Okay, let me detach and let the world kind of do its thing and spin. And then I'll move back in. And then this kind of keeps me in balance. I know I go off on my own and I don't talk to anybody for a little bit, except for the one or two people I have to, which you tend to be one of them. And then on the other end of it is my partner or my kids. But there is this need to ebb and flow in and out. Because if I'm on all the time, that's fucking exhausting. Being on all the time and then I forget. What the heck am I really doing here? Am I really here to staple all these pages together 50 times? Is that the point of this? No. It's the ebb and flow. And then when I flow out, those things are still going on. The work still happens. I may lightly participate, but I'm in a regrouping mode. I'm in kind of a I'm on the ebb end of this lifetime flow.
I just find that because it's like you literally were like, well, it flows, but also it's the end of this flow, but it's also of this lifetime, but then also part of just the breath. You just literally like the inhale, the exhale. And that's one of the questions that's actually came up in my head recently. When the yogis are talking about this, or when people are talking about peace, are they in balance? Are they really talking about how like, okay, I'll inhale with you in this room with you people, and I'll hold space. But when I exhale, the world is mine for a minute, and I'm going to be peace in here. And then okay, am I just resonating in the energy in the room, or is it over time? See?